Okay, so this is the exact same program as we left off with in the last video, and I want to run this a second time, and here I'm going to enter, say, 8 units. Instead of inches this time, however, I'm going to say linear feet. Notice that's linear space feet. Watch what happens. Okay, results are in. The calculations are fine, but if you look at this, I was expecting that to say linear feet, linear feet. I have lost the word feet, okay, and here's what's going on. Basically, CN, you're using it, this line is the problem. CN does not like spaces, okay? CN cannot handle spaces. And so basically when CN comes across a space, he says, oh, I'm done, it's over, the input is over. CN looks at that space as like the end of the input, and so it ignores the rest, anything that comes after that. So only the word linear went into the units variable. So the remedy for that is if you're anticipating spaces, you have to use a function called getline. Straight CN is not going to work. CN is fine for just like the radius, the number, or any input where you're not going to have spaces, where you're certain you're not going to have spaces. Yeah, just regular CN like we talked about in the last video is fine. But if you're anticipating spaces, you have to use getline. Getline is a function. This function needs 2 things from us to do its job. The first thing is CN himself, the input stream, and then the variable where the input is going. So these are called arguments. So a function requires certain things to do its job. We provide these things in parentheses. These things are called arguments. So this function takes 2 arguments from us, CN and the variable where the input is going. So normally we would be home free in this case. Let me run this again, though. This is going to open yet another can of worms. Okay, so I'm running the program with the exact same inputs here. Now, look what happened there. I typed 8, enter, and then I wanted to enter linear feet, linear space feet, so getline could absorb that input. But it just whizzed right by. I didn't even get the chance to enter the units. Okay, so what is going on here? Like I said, there's yet another phenomenon going on. Here's a picture. If you can imagine CN, like I said, is like a pipe with data flowing through it. Okay, so the data in this case goes from the keyboard into the variable, the radius variable. In that case, in that run, I entered, when I was prompted for the radius, I typed 8 and the enter key. Okay, so what happened was the 8 went into the variable, the radius variable, as I hoped it would, but then that enter key was lingering in the input stream. And so what happened was getline came along and saw the enter key and said, oh, here, we're done. Okay. Getline interpreted that enter key as the next input, the full input. So we have to do another thing. And, you know, sometimes when you have a mixture of CN and getline, when you're mixing it up like that, then you have these annoying little issues. So there is a remedy for this. What we'll do is we're going to flush. Oh, not here. It's after the CN. Oops. Okay, after I enter the radius, before the getline, we're going to flush the input buffer. Okay, and there's a function for that called cn.ignore. Cn.ignore will just kind of flush any lingering enter key that is in there, and then it's going to work. Then getline will be ready for us to actually enter something meaningful like linear feet. So let me just run this one more time. Okay, so here we go. I'll enter 8. Now I'm being prompted for the linear feet, or the units. Whoops, linear feet. And there you have it. Okay, everything's working as expected. So to recap, CN does not like spaces. If you're anticipating spaces, you have to use getline. And then if you're using a mixture of CN and getline like we are here, you're probably going to have to flush the input buffer. You can do that using cn.ignore.